Utility Supplier Diversity Program. The Commission regulates services and utilities, protects consumers, safeguards the environment, and ensures access to safe, reliable utility infrastructure and services. The Commission also, through General Order 156, encourages regulated utilities to increase procurement for minority, women, disabled veteran, and LGBT businesses directly through their prime contractors. If you want to know more about our Utility Supplier Diversity Program and how to get certified, we have representatives from the utilities, the Supplier Clearinghouse, and the CPUC at the Expo's virtual exhibit booths to provide you with more information and answer any questions you may have. The CPUC's General Order 156 requires the utilities to develop a subcontracting program that encourages prime contractors to engage with diverse subcontractors. This morning's panel will discuss how utilities implement their subcontracting programs in partnership with the prime contractors, how diverse suppliers can access subcontracting opportunities, best practices to succeed in subcontracting, and the types of opportunities available in subcontracting. Today's session will be recorded and posted on the Expo WOVA website under the agenda section and on the CPUC's Utility Supplier Diversity website. For better sound quality, all attendees except the panelists are muted. If you have any questions for the panelists, please use the Q&A box. With that, I would like to hand it over to our esteemed moderator, Tracy Stanhoff, President of the American Indian Chamber.
Thanks, Tricia. This is probably the best. The Public Utilities Commission probably has the best diversified supplier program in the country. And I'm happy to be here today with 5 people on this panel that are great advocates of it and participants in it. First off, I'm going to introduce them all since we only have an hour and I want to get into the meat of the questions. So in lieu of them introducing themselves, forgive me everybody, but I'm going to introduce them for you, and then we'll get into the questions and the conversations that will help everybody learn more about being a subcontractor and a prime with the utilities, telcos, and water companies. First off, from Comcast, we have Lisa Robin. She's in supplier diversity, and she does a great job there in integrating folks into Comcast. And cheers for Lisa. We also have next up Geraldine Jeeves. She's risen to the top of the supplier diversity program over at PG&E, and she's been a longtime partner. Right on, Geraldine. She's an awesome chick too. All right, then we have Tim McLaughlin from San Jose Water. Tim, you've been a warrior going along in the diversity field here for a while, and it's great to have you here with us today. I know you have a good heart for us and are pushing for more diverse supplier inclusion at the water companies. And then we have Rhonda O'Neill Fultz. She's the diversified business manager with Lewis and Tibbetts, and she's I just got to know her practicing for this panel today, and she's a great advocate also, and a good supplier there for everybody. She does both PG&E's a subcontractor or a prime contractor for PG&E and San Jose Water. Last but not least, we have Alex Velasquez. He is the director of construction operations with Spenco Communications. This is probably a great guy because, well, not probably, he is a great guy. I got to know him a little bit too, but he's right there in the trenches helping integrate partners with his company. So my first question is going to go out to the utilities. Each one of them is going to answer the question, and I'm going to start first with Lisa. And briefly describe how your company supports and works with prime contractors to increase diverse subcontracting spend. What is diverse subcontracting?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Tracy. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to thank you for including me in this panel today, and also thank our business partner, Alice Velasquez with Spenco, for attending today and representing. They are an incredible partner to Comcast, specifically here in our California region. And really, our partnerships with our prime business partners are really to increase our products and services to our communities and to the customers that we serve. So in doing that, we work closely with our partners to share our goals of our supplier diversity program and really work together and collaborate on those goals. So there are consistent touch points throughout the year and throughout each month to increase the awareness and expectations for our program.
Awesome. Okay, same question, Geraldine from PG&E.
Good morning, everybody. So glad to be here. Thank you for that awesome chick introduction to Tracy and your support over the years. For PG&E, our prime supplier program is really about how do we partner with our prime suppliers to make sure that they understand our commitment to supplier diversity. And we do that in a number of ways. Our percentage of subcontracting of our diverse results is about 16%, and that doesn't include business solution partners and value-added resellers that we use as well. But it's a lot of training, and it starts with the pre-bid process of making sure that we're clear on what our expectations are, that they support our supplier diversity efforts. We do a lot of training through our Prime Supplier Academy as well. We use scorecard meetings to make sure that they understand our commitment to supplier diversity, and that if they're not meeting their targets, that we can coach them through that. And then we provide a lot of resources. We have a really detailed prime supplier guide that provides a lot of information about how to achieve supplier diversity. There's a lot more, but I'll stop there. But we just continue to work with them and state our commitment and make sure that we're working with them to achieve their maximum results with diverse subcontractors.
Awesome. Okay, Tim, same question.
Before
Are you there?
I have to ask, can you hear?
Yes, we can.
Hear me? Perfect.
Yes.
Thank you. I have a lot of problems today. Okay, so to answer the question, San Jose Water is a very small
Now you're breaking
water
up.
company. Okay. Tracy, why don't you move on to someone else? I'm just having too many problems here.
Okay, Tim, we'll come back to you. We're not letting you off the hook though. Hey. All right. Now we have some great prime contractors here. We have two of them here today that contract with two of our utilities and cable companies here. I'm going to ask Rhonda, describe your company's strategy to include diverse suppliers and subcontracting opportunities. So what kind of contracts do you operate with utilities? And from there, what do you usually subcontract?
Hi there, I'm Rhonda from Lewis and Tibbetts, and we are an MBE company. And we are an MBE company that provides a wide service for diverse vendors. We work with PG&E, and a lot of the diverse contractors that we're looking for are traffic control personnel, trucking, electrical, and asphalt grinding. And with our San Jose Water contracts, we're looking for traffic control, trucking, electrical, asphalt grinding, thermostriping, boring, pump suppliers, block wall carpentry, hazmat, and saw cutters. I know that seems really wide and diverse, but if you fit into any of those categories, give me a email or contact me through the application.
Awesome. Okay, if you do some cutting and boring and drilling and stuff like that, you can fit in their chain. Okay, Alex, same question. What do you do and what do you subcontract? Hello, Alex? Uh-oh. Unmute yourself.
How about there? Can you hear me now?
There we go. We can hear you now, my friend.
So a lot of similarities to Rhonda with Lewis and Tibbetts. We do a lot of the same type of infrastructure. So one of the things that we do look at, and we do a lot of unit pricing contracts. So a lot of the services that we're looking for is for the horizontal directional drilling, the restoration pieces like Rhonda described on the asphalt restoration, concrete restoration, We also do a lot of aerial placement and coaxial splicing, more specialty for the cable TV industry, which is coaxial cable splicing. So those are some of the pieces that we're looking for, along with some of the traditional pieces that we have, like traffic control and some of the common pieces in the drafting engineering for permitting is we also look for on some of our partners.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll get into more detail on how they contact you. So in a minute, I want to go back to the utilities. Okay, so you go to a workshop or one of their CPUC events, and you walk up to the tables of your company's utilities. So how can diverse suppliers access the subcontract opportunities using you folks as to facilitate this? I'm going to go with Geraldine first.
Thanks, Tracy. Well, there's a number of ways to do that. What we try to do is make sure that we post the events on our website where we're going to be.
Hey, Tim, sorry you're having problems.
I'm not sure if I'm the only one that heard that. I'll continue to talk. But I was just saying we have a lot of events on our website,
Okay.
including events that we do with prime suppliers. And so that's a great way to meet our primes.
So the access code to
Maisie,
hold on.
Maisie, we can hear you.
There we go. I see she muted herself.
Okay. All right. Get
So
back to it, Geraldine.
it's okay. I'll get the point out. So we also have our Prime Supplier Academy. So we have events, and you know, some of our primes may have attended those on the line. Rhonda may have, and that's a great opportunity when we have matchmaking events to meet our prime contractors. So we set up specific matchmaking. Another way that I think is great is for businesses to attend industry trade fairs like Edison Electric Institute or just Distribute Tech. So it's important to go to diversity events to meet prime suppliers, but I think it's important to think about where they go, and they go to a lot of industry events. And we have a program where we encourage companies to be part of these industry events so that they can meet our primes. So those are, I think, two great ways of just looking at our website, figuring out when we're having a prime event, attending those. And another tip that I would give businesses is if you have experience with a prime being a partner with another utility or another company, and you know that PG&E uses them, that's a great lead-in that we're already as a contractor to such and such prime. That's a really interesting perspective to our sourcing personnel to let us know that. So I would definitely leverage the relationships that you already have with primes and make sure that the utilities know about those.
Okay, so put in your slide deck that you work with primes if you're looking, or your capability statement. Rhonda, since you're a PG&E subcontractor or prime contractor, excuse me, how did you get into PG&E? What tips would you give?
Well, it was a lot of work. Let's just put it that way. We were not MBE at the time, but we are now. And one of the big tips that I have is that you have to have a good safety record and documentation. And they have to look at IS Networld and look into all of the information on IS Networld. The preferred is having a gold shovel. That's another thing to look into. Make sure you have active licenses, insurance, and an active DIR number. Any questions on any of those, feel free to give me a ring and I can help you out on that. I've mentored a lot of other MBEs, etc. And of course, be CPU certified. And the other do is make sure you pay your bills timely. We do look at that. It does make a big difference because we have to pay our people. So we want to make sure that they pay their people as well.
So you want a good credit rating or good financial backing too. All right, Lisa Robin from Comcast.
Yes,
I know you've been a champion. You've turned that place into a opportunity zone there. Thank you.
Well, thanks,
so, answer the
Tracy.
same question for the
And I
Yeah.
really identify with this this topic as well, because as I've shared on panels and with others in the industry, I was really representing a diverse firm before I came to Comcast to start my career here. So I had a background in business development, and I worked with Fortune 100 companies. So Comcast was my customer. So I was sitting in that seat that many of you are sitting in right now and trying to figure out how was I supposed to leverage this certification? So I agree with Rhonda. I think a lot of it does start with certification and that process through the supplier clearinghouse. So please reach out to me too if you're interested in certification. I can certainly help you with that. But it's also a matter of being a hunter, of finding ways to align with the industry and get to know what our partners do and what our core services are, and really identify with that. And Geraldine said it best as well, is attend those events and those industry related events where there will be stakeholders there and individuals that are decision makers as well. And then also, as we've mentioned before, it's working directly with the supplier diversity professionals to really just better understand what the opportunities are, because it really depends on what services and products that you're selling at that time, because sometimes we go through cycles where we do have opportunities, for example, marketing or different types of engineering services. And so it's about having that information in front of us. So when we do have the opportunity in-house, whether it's locally here or through our headquarters in Philadelphia, we're able to reach out and share that information.
Okay, Alex, you want to add into how, same question I asked Rhonda?
So I wasn't involved during the acquisition process, but one of the things I could probably tap into is how to maintain that relationship, right? So the safety factors are really big, and not just that, but maintaining the certification process and the deliverables and what's being asked of you. Make sure that you're maintaining that same level of excellence day in and day out, because as easily as you can become a vendor, you can also be removed as a vendor if you're not actively raising the bar and seeing those deliverables being achieved per the customer's request. So, I mean, that's probably the additional adder that I could probably add to that piece of it is the deliverable that's being asked of.
That's a good point. Represent minority business as well, right, Alex? Can't let our
Absolutely.
piece down. Yeah. All righty. Getting back to the utilities. There's been some questions in the chat room, and I get them since I'm also a supplier. But how do you handle a conflict between a prime contractor and a diverse subcontractor utilities? Because that could be an issue. Lisa, why don't you go first?
I can answer that. I did see that too previously in some of the questions, and I'm not aware of any of those interactions. I think that's more on the operations side, so I can't speak to that. But all I can do is, if it does come through my channel, that I'm able to advocate and share the information with the teams, the responsible teams, and have them work through that process. And I just want to add too, we are here obviously to provide products and services to our customers, but we also want to support our partners and their relationships as well. So I think it would be dealt with in a manner that is, above and beyond what needs to happen to take care of that type of situation.
Geraldine, same question. Conflicts.
I think Lisa covered it. We take a bit of an arm's length with our prime suppliers, and let them run their business. But of course, as supplier diversity advocates, when it comes to our attention that there's an issue with payment or any other type of issue, we will help to the extent that we can, at least letting the prime know that there's an issue if they don't already. A lot of times subcontractors don't want to tell us because they don't want to jeopardize their relationship. They'll tell us, but they don't want us to let the prime know. So it's just sometimes a challenging situation. So I think the first course of action is, try your best to work it out with the prime. And if they want us to intervene, we will, to a certain extent, to say, hey, there's an issue here. Can you reach out? But not get too involved. But we are very sensitive when issues happen. Luckily, we don't get those calls too many times. But we want to be helpful as advocates, but encourage the sub to work it out with the prime to the best extent possible.
I imagine it could be kind of a handful at PG&E, not to be negative towards your company, but you're just so big, so many opportunities that could come up frequently if it, in an instance. And so I want, to say that if you're subcontracting with a prime or anytime, it's almost like a marriage. You got to get along with folks and be able to work it out, like you're saying, Geraldine. So good points. To our primes, how do you advertise your opportunities, primes? So let's start with Alex first.
Well, the opportunities is really to reach out and really get aligned as far as what our services really are, to see if it's something that we can get together and actually involve you with some of the opportunities that we do have. So I think it's just understanding what our product and our deliverables really are and see if it lines up with what services you can provide. That's probably the biggest thing. Obviously, reaching out to advocates like Lisa or myself or even our area VP to become a vendor or supplier of Svenco would be the best way to get things going.
Do you have it on your website, bid opportunities? Do you send them out to our advocacy organizations, Alex?
So as far as bid opportunities, we don't really publicize the bid opportunities since we're on it more of a non-public. So just reaching out, getting to know what services we do provide with our customers would be the best bet. And yes, they can reach out to the website to be in contact with us.
Okay, so basically they really need to build a relationship with you folks.
Yes.
In addition to integrating with the CPUC opportunities or events. Rhonda, same question.
Well, we do a lot of public works, so we do advertise. We advertise on Challenge News. It is a emailed letter that goes out. We also advertise on Builders Exchange. So if you check the Builders Exchange in the San Francisco Bay Area, you will see our advertisements for a variety of bids. We also do search out variety of DBEs and DVBEs. We seek those out because DVBE is normally a 3% requirement on a lot of our public bids. So if you are a DVBE company, seek me out.
Okay, you heard her. Seek her out. She's got opportunity, possibly. Putting you on the spot there, Rhonda, but it's all good, man. Or chick, I should say, because I called Geraldine a chick earlier. Sorry.
It's all good.
All right. Okay, so the point of this panel is to really help educate folks or give them some tips and incentives to go into the second tier here with some primes. This is really earth-shattering sometimes because the CPUC has really been pushing for this to find out who the primes are from the utilities and integrate some folks into those supply chains. So this is great. To the utilities, what goods and services are usually subcontracted by your prime contractors that you know of? So let's start with Geraldine.
We subcontract a lot of different things. So, I'll give you some areas. Obviously, staffing is a big part of what we do. We have a managed service provider that provides staffing. So that's a big piece. We are, at the end of the day, construction, engineering. So a lot of services related to that. I think Rhonda names quite a few, but traffic control, saw cutting, trucking, hauling, some construction management, project management, materials, equipment, civil construction, everything construction, I would say, is a big part of our subcontracting. I mean, I could go down a full list. On the professional services side, most of the time that's direct. We do have some, in some cases subcontracting, but find that is an area that isn't as prime to, pun intended, to subcontracting. So it's usually more on the operations side than the services side, but we do definitely have subcontracting in the services areas as well.
Well, that's true. I mean, you don't want law firms building on law firms. It's really difficult at times, and it's a professional service.
Yeah, I would say that those kinds of relationships are more like a partnership where, you know, maybe a law firm would use a, you know, partner with another firm to help provide some of the services. So those tend to be more of a partnership relationship than subcontracting.
Gotcha. Lisa, same question.
Currently, we have, I know Alex mentioned some of the services internally here within our California region, as well as our headquarters. There is a need for call center services. So we're consistently looking for partners within the call center space. And then also, as Alex mentioned, traffic control is consistently needed, and that's a good sign, of course. Anything really related to PPE, as we continue through the pandemic, we're still needing all of those products that really helped us stay protected through this pandemic, and also the unfortunate wildfires that we've seen during the last couple of years. So the facial coverings are very important for us, and then also safety products as well for our teams that are out working on the network and in the field. So that's important as well. And then just recently we had a request for crane operators. So I did some research in the Supplier Clearinghouse portal because I didn't have a crane operator that I was working with directly. So those are just some of the immediate needs that we have right now.
Cool. All right. I got a question for our primes now, going back to Alex and Rhonda. What mechanisms do you have in place at your company to ensure timely payments to diverse subcontractors? So Rhonda, go first, please. Are you there, Rhonda?
I am sorry about that. I had a little hiccup with unmuting. I apologize for that. Well,
No
we
worries.
pay our subs within 10 days of GC payment or owner payment.
Wow.
Or we also pay by set contract agreement.
Okay, and Alex, same question.
Actually, we have a really good program. We do have an Oracle-based system in place. So the way this works is how the productivity is completed or production is completed. It's submitted for approval. Once the approval process happens, then it's time stamped, and then the net terms triggers that. So we don't wait for GC payment. We actually pay as soon as you actually perform the work. So depending on the net terms that you have, you'll be paid as soon as the approval is submitted with production. Yeah.
That's awesome. Great. Okay, Alex, I'm going to ask the question back to you now. So if people want to get in touch with you, do you have a booth today at the workshop, the virtual workshop, or no?
I don't believe we have a booth today, but I can forward my information so they can definitely get a hold of myself or our area vice president to make contact with us. Absolutely.
Okay, because it seems like it's very important, as you said, to make a relationship with you so folks can get to know you. And then Rhonda, the same. Are you in a booth today, or how do people get a hold of you?
I am not, but I am on the, I guess it's, I don't know how to pronounce it, WOVA, and you can reach me through that. I have placed some information and some in the chat, so you can reach me through that at any time. You can also reach me by going to our website at diglT.com.
Oh, dig it. Okay, well, dig LT. Yeah, I got it now. All right. Awesome. Okay, for the utilities, what advice do you have for diverse suppliers to find and win subcontracting opportunities? We've kind of been talking about it for a while here during the questions, but what advice do you have, Lisa?
Sure, that's a really good question. It's always, top of mind for the entrepreneurs out there, the business development directors, and so forth. And I'd say, continue to attend these events. And we do have an annual symposium that we host every year with Cox and Charter. And that's an opportunity to gain some visibility as well. We do include our prime business partners within the programming, and then also some of those advocates that we have, the champions within our organizations, to connect with the diverse suppliers as well. We have one-on-one opportunities throughout the year to meet with our teams. And also it's just a matter of attending these events and being consistent with the messaging. And I know many of you out there have done that. And it's really a matter of time and need too. So ensuring that you're having a more proactive approach to doing business with us, because I know somebody on the panel mentioned an MSP. So we do have structures in place as well for staffing, for example, working with our MSPs, but we're at that point right now with our MSPs where they are to capacity and they do not have a need. So it's a matter of keeping us educated on what those services are. And believe me, I've been in that position as well. So I know it is a timing situation.
Okay, can you describe the acronym or define the acronym MSP for everybody, so people who might not know?
A managed service provider, I'm sorry.
And they have a long-term contract that you guys have a relationship with. Is that how you describe it?
So they're facilitating the business for us. So our prospective suppliers can register through our MSP as well. And many of the staffing firms that I've spoken with in the past, they are registered through them.
Okay, cool. All right, Geraldine, same question, the do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts. Okay. Well, I was just going to add, because Rhonda brought it up, and I think it's a good point. And first of all, I would echo everything that Lisa said in terms of attending or outreach events and just making sure that you are where prime suppliers are. But I would definitely emphasize ISN, that's safety certification. On our website, PG&E's contractor safety website, there's a list of contractors that are approved, that are ISN certified if they're performing medium or high risk work. So that is a resource that a lot of our prime suppliers go to when they're looking for subcontractors. So that's important. Rhonda also mentioned gold shovel. If you're doing any digging as part of your work, you need to be gold shovel certified. So that's just another list that you would be on that would make you available to our prime suppliers. In PG&E, we're looking for new ways to try to figure out how to give subcontractors access to our primes, of course, with their permission, through their websites or whatnot. But we know that that's important. There are some companies, I know one of them is participating today, that has really leveraged a lot of our events to network with prime suppliers and build those relationships. And that's been her focus, and she's done a great job of that. So I really encourage you to, attend those events and definitely take in all of the learnings that we're trying to provide, but also use that as an opportunity to talk to prime suppliers that are there and to get to know them and understand what type of work they're doing for PG&E, what areas that they would need help. I think that's a great way to leverage our events to build on prime sub relationships. And a lot of our subcontractors have actually become primes based on the subcontracting work that they've done. So I'm glad it's looked upon more favorably these days, because I think it's a good avenue for a lot of companies that want to grow and learn through our primes about the work that we do.
Okay, I want to, there's been some questions about some of the websites. So if I can get our panelists to put their websites in the Q&A, I know you're trying to handle speaking too, obviously, but if we can do that very quickly, I know Trish is going to handle some questions later also. One of the things that keeps coming up is the ISN Net World safety certification, especially for those who are in the contracting construction field. So one of the things that comes up is, how do you support your, this is for the utilities, and then I'm going to ask the same of the prime contractor, how do you support people getting these certifications extraneous of the supplier clearinghouse verification for being a verily a MBE, DBE, DBE contractor. How do you support something like ISNet World? And so I'm going to ask Geraldine first, and then we'll go to Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, when we first, can you hear me? Oh, yeah. When we first started with ISN, obviously, depending, there's pricing structures of getting certified. So in terms of support, it's kind of one of those things that safety is, of course, something we're very much focused on. So if you're doing that type of work, it's kind of, it is a requirement. I mean, frankly, I don't know how to say it any other way. But if there's a company that is having trouble with ISN certification, we're certainly willing to talk to them. But unfortunately, there's not, if they're performing high risk work or medium risk work, then ISN, you have to have that certification. And so in that case, depending on, maybe you grow with another customer that maybe doesn't requirement to a point where you can actually, pay the fees that are associated with it, but there's not much that we can do to waive the ISN certification or anything like that.
Okay.
And I don't know if our primes have helped or not. I would turn that over to Rhonda to see if there's anything that they can do. I know that we've tried to have ISN train on what the process is so that businesses can better understand ISN requirements, but it is, Tracy, very much important, an important certification for the very, dangerous work that we do a lot of times.
And I don't disagree with you, Geraldine. I don't want to get off topic here, but it's going to be an issue for a lot of folks. So I think it needs to be addressed in the future because of the fact that it's a business choice too. You got to get an opportunity to make it pay for itself. To be frank with you, because there is a charge depending on what type of work you do. And of course, all of our suppliers want to be considered safe and do a safe job because it costs us money if we don't. So, it's common sense that way as far as business is concerned. So it's a big issue and a challenge at times, but I think it's something that needs to be addressed with the CPUC and all of our CBOs, the American Indian Chamber. We're going to be doing a thing on it soon to get people in line. And then when they do get the opportunity to press the button and get their certification done quickly. Lisa, same question. Do you have any support for people getting ISN certified?
We have a team that provides vetting services through our West Division, and there is a process that the suppliers will proceed through when working through our process. So there is some assistance now, specifically for ISN. I'm not aware of particular assistance there, but I know the team has gone as far as to support with connecting two firms to work together on some of our projects. So they definitely are invested. And if there was a need, I'm sure they would be able to support. But, really, it's an investment of their time and their resources. And I agree, it is based on that. Opportunities. And so it's a matter of growth too, and finding that alignment with a particular industry as well. Maybe it's working more closely with a prime at that point to build that capacity to get to that point.
Yeah, and we are, and many of us are not required to keep OSHA records. So there's a lot of not challenges, particularities in that process. So I do think it needs to be addressed and discussed so people can align themselves in the right manner. Rhonda, you seem like you've got some help, and I'm going to ask you to weigh in on ISNet. And do you have any help for folks that need to help get that accomplished?
Well, we actually, it took us a little while to do it ourselves. We're a small business and we're located in the Bay Area, and there's a lot of work involved in it. The one recommendation I could say is make sure that you keep all the documentation work really hard. It's going to take a couple of years for some folks as it did for us as well. We worked on getting our ISN network. I think it took us 4 years. So it's not a quick
Wow.
process. It's not a quick process, but once you get in there and you get all of your work done, and by working with other primes as a sub on other jobs, you will get there. It is hard. It is not easy, but you will get there. We have mentored one other of our subs to obtain theirs. So if you get in with us and you work with us, we'll work with you.
Thank you. Okay, Alex, you have any comment on ISN?
You guys hear me now? Actually,
Yeah.
there is a process in place. I don't know all the details, but I know we do a lot of mentoring to try to achieve that piece of it. I just don't have the details at the moment, but I know if you reach out to me or go to our site, we do have a process in place to help with that and assist. I know we do pivot a lot to our customer, like Lisa referred to the West Division side. So we do have a process in place, a program. So.
Thanks, Alex. Okay, he put his website in the Q&A. It's sefnco.com. All righty. So moving along here, it's been a challenge to identify the primes. This is going back to the utilities at times of who you work with, and you're private companies, and so you don't have to disclose who your primes are. And I get that. I totally. Sometimes it's competitive nature, and so forth. So again, outreaching to you folks. How should people best pitch to you how they want to become a second tier? So Lisa first.
As I mentioned, it's reaching out to me. And also, I think what's important to understand too is having content that is really relevant to our business. And I can't emphasize enough being able to understand Comcast and what our offerings are. I mean, Comcast is a large enterprise and it's multifaceted. And so taking the time to really align with what we are looking for within our space here. And in doing that, it's gratifying as well, because you do start that very genuine relationship. And what's impressive to me is having those suppliers approach us with really the services, because service offerings that align with our, for example, Xfinity stores, having solutions to some of those issues that we might encounter. Maybe it's those needs that we have related to lighting or any of the products that we need to facilitate the opening of stores. So thinking outside of what you might hear from us on a panel. So important to really do that research and better communicate that message to us so we can share that with our teams.
And Geraldine, to you?
Yeah, like I said, we're always looking for new ways other than in this virtual environment. Obviously, we're not doing as many or any real in-person events. But I think just one thing that I would like to offer is we do send out contract opportunity announcements and post them on our website. So that is another way, is if you look at those contract opportunity announcements, yes, they're for direct opportunities, but you may see some of those services and say, hey, I may be able to sub on this. There's something, there's a part of this that that I would be interested in. There's no reason why you can't respond and say, hey, I received this contract opportunity. I don't think I'm ready to do direct work, but I want to be part of a subcontracting relationship if there's an opportunity. So that's just something that came to mind as another way to leverage those opportunities and figure out if subbing is a good fit. And we will continue to figure out better ways for our subcontractors or diverse companies to access PG&E prime suppliers. But right now, you know, the best thing that you can do, like I said, is attending industry trade fairs, looking at our website, seeing where we're going to be, and any prime events that we have where they're matchmaking between prime and sub, and participate in those.
All right, so I guess we need to advocate for all the utilities to bring some of their primes with them to these events, so we can actually rub elbows with them and learn on how they became a prime and then become part of their team, because it is not an easy process, and we need to. This is why this panel is so useful, is to get to start to know the process. And this has been an issue for years, trying to figure out who the primes are. As people are saying, we don't have prime opportunities, but we have tier 2 opportunities. Well, where do we get those opportunities? And I'm not bashing the utilities. I'm just saying we got to figure this out and get a solution to a problem that's been identified. So from our subcontractor, our prime contractor, sorry, I always think of the utilities as being the top, and then everybody else down the supply chain sub. So I keep saying the wrong thing. But anyway, primes. Any parting good tidbits that you want to share? So Alex, will you go first?
You know, the only thing I wanted to really emphasize, and you know, we talked about a lot of different opportunities that we're looking for, and you know, I only described a small amount. There's a plethora of opportunities. To Lisa's point, we're so diverse. We have a need across the board. We have a lot of things that we can do. That we use subcontractors, from infrastructure pieces to optical splicing to even you know, Lisa, thank you for bringing that up, but the crane operator piece. So we do a lot of different things that we could use a lot of subcontractors to help us assist to make those deliverables for our customer. But again, it's also on the safety side, the PPE. You know, Lisa brought up the fires, where you know my team was heavily involved on the recovery pieces. So there's a lot of things that we do that's beyond what we just described today. So yeah, I would encourage you to go to our site, visit the site, get to know what it is that we do, and see how we fit, because we do a lot of different things, from the permitting side to monument preservation surveys. We do more than just infrastructure construction.
So there's a lot of opportunity there if you get to be one of his partners, I would assume, huh? Yeah, that's wonderful. You sound like a growing company. So we all want to partner with folks like you. Okay, Rhonda, same question. Any tidbits?
Let's see. Number one, as I had previously stated, go through, make sure you get your CPUC certification. That's number one. If you need help with that, I do have a diverse person who can assist you in getting that. And her name is Ranjani Mohana. She's with RMO Diversity Solutions, and her websites are as in Robert, M as in Mary, O as in Orange, L as in Lincoln, L as in Lincoln, C as in Charles. She's really good. She helped us obtain ours. So I definitely want to get the word out with her.
All right. So you need people that already have their ducks in order, basically, to become ingrained in your supply chain quickly, so you guys can be on point and ready to go and deploy as you get your contract, sounds like then, Rhonda. Is that true?
That is true. But I also do help mentor people. So if you want to get a hold of me as well, I've helped quite a few suppliers in the process of obtaining all of their ducks in a row.
Okay, well, Rhonda's flexible about getting the ducks in order then. All right, cool to hear. All right, any other tidbits that Geraldine and Lisa, you guys want to add?
I do. Thanks, Tracy. I neglected to mention that we do have a grant program right now that was started early, or actually late 2020, in response to really the unfortunate events that occurred in 2020 with the murder of George Floyd. And so Comcast has invested $100 million to support social justice internally and externally. So a lot of really great workforce forums for us, DE&I related. And this program, Comcast Rise, is really what we're sharing with all of the communities. And this is a program that is specifically for small businesses that are owned by BIPOC. So Black, Indigenous, people of color. So please take a look. I put the information in the chat. And then I'll also be at our virtual booth from 10 to noon today. And of course, you know how to reach me. My information is available on WOVA. But please take a look at www.comcastrise.com. And that is a really incredible program to support our diverse businesses. So, you know, definitely reach out with any questions you might have. And just want to reiterate too that, you know, I understand where many of you are in this process, and feel free to reach out to me and with any questions regarding certification or connections to some of our partners too.
Awesome, Lisa, and congrats on your RISE program. We got to deal with that Rick Santorum in Indian country. We're on the warpath with him. So anyway, well,
Oh,
that's another
definitely.
story.
Let's connect about that, Tracy. I'd love to hear more.
Yeah, the guy didn't think anybody was here before white people got here, but that's another story. Okay, Geraldine, I know you're laughing. Same comment.
No, I just love you, Tracy.
I love you too, man.
No, I think those are great tips. I would just say, please take advantage of some of the trainings that we have to grow your business. We just launched a free learning management system that's available on our website that teaches you how to future-proof your business, teaches you about cybersecurity, about safety. And I really encourage companies to take that free training that we offered, in addition to the ones that we were offering in person, and there's videos, because I think those are things that can also give you tips about not only doing business with PG&E, but doing business with other customers. So I would say take advantage of that. That's one thing that I didn't mention. And we talked a little bit about do's and don'ts, and I think Lisa covered a lot of them, as well as, you know, really understand what we're looking for is helpful to understand, like I said, by reading the contract opportunities announcements, reviewing our websites. There's a lot of information there. A lot of people have been asking for my contact information in the chat. It's pretty easy. It's just my geraldine.gleaves@pge.com. You can also, I will be participating through the WOVA app as well. So I'm looking forward to speaking to you and answering any questions that you may have about doing direct business with PG&E or as a subcontractor.
Cool. All right. So everybody's got the WOVA apps hopefully downloaded to your phone or to your desktop, and you can connect with folks. I'm going to turn it back over to Drisha. Thank you guys for the conversation here. All of you have been a lot of fun. Kim, you know, they handled it well in your absence, and sorry about your technical support challenges. I'm sure we have some good IT companies that you can call on out there in diverse business land here to help you out with that. But Drisha, you there, my friend?
I'm here. Can you see me?
I can see you now.
Okay. Thank all of you for all your questions. I know there was a lot in the Q&A session, and I tried to answer several. I sent some contact lists to some of those who asked me for it. Some had additional questions specific to the utilities or to the prime contractors. So if the prime contractors could put their company names and their names inside the chat box, that would be appreciated. I know several people asked for it. I had also put my email information. If you wanted an updated utility contact list, I'll be more than happy to send that to you. And I'll put my information in the chat box as well. I think all of us have booths. If you want to go to the WOVA website and leave comments or information there. I know a lot of you introduced your companies on the Q&A and had some specific questions for the utilities. Going to those exhibit booths will give you an opportunity to put those questions in there as well and have them addressed by the utilities specifically. And I think that's all.
Well, you're
Unless
a
anybody had anything else to say. I'm sorry?
You're a warriorist too, Drisha. You come and and you know what I mean. You've helped us a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
To the staff there at the CPUC. Yeah, keep it up, lady.
I will do that.
I just wanted to say thank you to Tracy as well for moderating. I know it takes a lot of prep to get to this point. And the other panelists, and specifically Alex, I really appreciate you taking the time today to pull yourself out of the operation, and you did a great job. So thank you.
Oh, thank you, everyone.
All right,
Yes.
Mark, somebody will try to answer your question, Mark Neiman. So no answer to the question. Maybe, Tricia, you can keep the Q&A open and somebody can scroll up to his question. Type it in again, Mark. Maybe there's no answer, but we'll try to figure it out, or somebody will. Might not be me. Anyway. Okay. Reading through those. We're trying to get through all of them.
Yes, and thank you, Tracy. I echo Lisa's comments, and these sessions are so important to be able to provide information and asking those tough, candid questions. So thank you.
Yeah, come on now, Geraldine. I was nice. I know you guys were nervous. No, I'm just kidding.
You were very nice. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tracy.
Well, I can tell you're an advocate, Rhonda. Thank you. I know you're gonna. I got some signs to sell you too. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Anyway.
Absolutely.
Oh, Tracy, did you share the information about your conference? Upcoming conference?
Yeah, we're going to be in person and virtual July 11th through the 13th out at the Great Agua Caliente Resort in Rancho Mirage, California. We will have the golf starting at what time? You're going to be golfing with us, Lisa? I hope. I don't know. It depends on your company. But anyway, Lisa's a tough golfer. And I hear Geraldine does a good Zumba. So we have both going on.
Oh, no. That's not true. I'm a Peloton girl over here.
Okay, well, maybe you can do the health
Zumba.
walk if you're able to go. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today, and I hope to have a lot of you that are watching visit the exhibit booths, provide your questions, concerns. If you need some information, we'll all be happy to reach out. Thank you again. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you, panelists. You all did a great job, and we really appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you all.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Trisha, you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
To load my email and contact information, but it's not allowing me.
Oh, it wouldn't let you. Do you have a booth with us?
No, you know what? I can. Lisa does. I can. Lisa has my contact information. I can probably.
Okay.
Maybe she can forward it that way. There's a lot of Q&A in here, to where
Yes,
they're
there
asking
is.
for contact. So
Okay.
I'm trying to load it, but for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to. It's giving me an error.
If I have someone reach out to me, I will forward your information on. Since you weren't able to put it in the chat box or into the Q&A, I can get your information from Basie. So I'll make sure I post that in the CPUC exhibit booth. So if they need that information, they can have it. Hopefully she has something on file with the contact information for the participants, and then that way I'll post it so they'll have it.
Sounds great. I know there were some chats that I wanted to kind of respond back to, but
You were having a hard time. I apologize. I don't know why.
and maybe it's just me because I work with Teams on a daily, not WebEx.
Oh yeah, so I know WebEx is different. And so basically with some of them, if you want, but see, I'm worried that they may have all left. So they may not be here anymore.
Okay.
To receive your information. So let me see what I could do. And see, some of them didn't leave their email addresses either. Because normally if you select on the person that was asking you the direct question, then you start typing inside the select a question and then type your answer here. And then you could type in that box and hit send, and it would you could send it privately or you could send it to the entire group.
Yeah, it's giving me an error. I tried that.
Oh, it's getting an error. Okay, I apologize. I don't know why, but I will definitely, if someone reaches out to me, I will definitely give them your contact information for them to try and reach out to you somehow. And
Sounds good.
Okay, and thank you so much, Alex. I appreciate it. I appreciate
Thank you.
you helping us out today. You have a great day.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.